This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. On January 13th, the government was notified of claims that a group of Bahamian workers on Abaco have not been paid since last year by the Endeavour Development International Company. Press Secretary at the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, giving an update today saying that the government has intervened.
The government has been able to dialogue with the company. They've begun discussions and talks. Some 40 Bahamian workers have outstanding payrolls. The Department of Labor has taken on this dispute. The Prime Minister will not allow foreigners or anyone to take advantage of the Bahamian workers or abuse the Department of Immigration and Labor. In light of that, talks have begun to ensure that we get the money that's due to the Bahamian people.
Mr. Watson asserts that the government will not endorse or allow companies to take advantage of Bahamians in their own country. He says the government expects in the coming weeks this matter will be resolved. Leader of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, Obi Ferguson, on Wednesday said the union has ran into what they are describing as a hurdle. He was referring to Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper. Members of the TUC held a press conference to express their concerns and disappointment with the Deputy Prime Minister after they say they have not been able to speak with him nor have their concerns addressed. They are also accusing the government of being in breach of the Memorandum of Understanding signed prior to the general election. Our Destiny Johnson has more in this next report.
The Bahamas Trade Union Congress, TUC, is demanding a meeting with Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper. President of the TUC, Obi Ferguson, says his union's demands follow months of asking for an audience with the DPM, as well as numerous complaints from all unions in the Congress. During a press briefing this morning, Mr. Ferguson claimed that the DPM is in a fundamental breach of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the Progressive Liberal Party prior to the 2021 general elections.
He has refused to meet with air traffic controllers. Refused. We are not going to allow that to continue to happen. Because if you deal with one, you deal with all. At least that's where we function. Yes, so the workers in Grand Bahama, under Lucayan, we had an industrial agreement there. It expired, and he has refused to meet over the last roughly about 12 months. So we tried to meet with him. We gave him the scenario. He would say, I will revert. Those of you who are very computer literate, you know what that means. So we want to tell him, to whom much is given, to whom much is expected.
The TUC president contends that he has been trying to contact the DPM for over a year with no avail. Moreover, he says Minister Cooper's actions are unjust and are not only affecting workers in the Bahamas, but also in the Family Islands. Mr. Ferguson claims that the DPM has discontinued all dues paid to the union in Freeport.
All industrial agreements will be negotiated on a timely basis. How could you have the Deputy Prime Minister opposed to workers getting an industrial agreement? And not only that, he stopped the dues. Dues, let me explain something to you about dues. Dues to a union is like the aorta to the heart. Yes. When that aorta stops moving, that everything is over. You see a body there. So I'm saying to you, the musicians, right? The musicians in this country, we ain't begging nobody for nothing, man. No. What are we doing? We can't let him treat us, Carl, like we are some stranger. No. Mr. Lewis, we can't do that. No. We're Bahamians, Keep doing what you're doing. You should meet with the Public Managers Union. Have a meeting with the president, Cassandra Lewis, and discuss the best way forward.
President of the Bahamas Dock and Allied Venues Association, BDAVA, Wendy Constantine, asserts that the Ministry of Tourism is not labor-friendly under the minister's directive. Even President of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, Kyle Wilson, lamented as he tells the media that it is too early in the Davis's administration's time in office for the public to begin losing faith in the minister and for unions to resort to unwanted protests.
One person, a little leaven it the whole lump. One person could destroy all of his work. You know how hard it is to build a house? But one bulldozer could tear it down in an hour.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is the Deputy Prime Minister must be careful not to tear down the work that the current administration is doing so far and not to damage the fabric of labor, because once you lose that, people ain't gonna forget. They ain't gonna trust you no more.
Sure.
But I give you another time, you don't do it to me the first time, you ain't do it to me the second time, you do it to me off the bat. I ain't trusting you no more.
Exactly.
I ain't taking that. And right now, you got some people and some other people lurking around here, any little sweet talk they can hear to grab onto to secure workers in this country.
Now, when asked what the Congress is prepared to do if their matters are not resolved and no meeting is had with the DPM, Minister Ferguson says no threats will be made, but things will be done.
He doesn't recognize what we're doing, what the potential would be. You know, I wouldn't make an announcement that Monday morning we can do certain things, because by nature I don't function like that. My colleagues though, they would know, and they would be a part of that process as to what precisely we will do. What I can say to you though, we will not allow this to continue.
That's right. That's right.
I for you.
No problem for anyone else.
I for you.
Minister Ferguson contends that as leaders of the working people and custodians of the union, leaders must fight for what is right and what the Bahamian people deserve. For JCN News, I'm Destiny Johnson.
Thanks for that report, Destiny. 14 track and field coaches, 7 men, 7 women throughout the Family Islands will be participating in a 2-week sports visitors program set to take place in Los Angeles, California and Eugene, Oregon between May 6th and the 20th in an effort to support the development of Bahamian youth in athletics. Cale Campbell tells us more in this next report.
The U.S. government will be fully funding the project, which is a result of a partnership between the Bahamas Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and the U.S. Embassy in Nassau. Speaking on the importance of and reason for exchange programs as such, U.S. Embassy's Acting Deputy Chief of Missions, Lance Posey, relates with the program, reminiscing of his own days as a college basketball player.
Administrators of the sports vision program will be expected to use the selected Bahamian coaches and administrators of the sports vision program will be expected to use what they learned during the exchange to create and build upon their track and field youth programs that are in the Family Islands, and to work to increase rural participation as well. So I'm especially happy to be here launching this program today, because youth sports for me kind of got me to where I am today. So I did do some track and field, but as you can tell by my height, I was a basketball guy. And I was fortunate enough to grow up in a community where youth sports were strong. They were, we had good coaches. And I didn't just learn about how to play the game, but I did have talented coaches at the youth level, which is very, very important for lots of reasons. One of those coaches was my father, who also played college basketball. And I was lucky to have his expertise. But just having expert coaches at that level did a lot of things for me. But it was also something more that I learned through those experiences. It was about learning about character building, teamwork, leadership. We know that all the kids that play youth sports are not going to be playing sports in college, right? And so there are so many valuable lessons that can be learned through these types of activities, whether it's track and field, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whatever the options are that people have.
Participants in the program will engage with other American coaching peers and sports practitioners participating in a number of clinics and sessions focusing on leadership, team building, inclusion, and equity in sports.
So many people who are working in the trenches, especially on the front lines, as this program is aiming at reaching as many as possible to front lines. So we will do our homework and make sure that we have the best representation. All of us know the importance of sports. You know about your personal history, and I know you are fully aware of our country's history. We have legendary sports accomplishments by our players. Sometimes we tend to think that because we had such great success, that it's easy, it's simple, and it's so more coming up in the stream. And the facts are that they are so big about the potential, but they don't have some opportunities, especially to go to college and to perfect their craft to be a professional athlete. And so hopefully these kinds of exchanges will help us to ensure that we have the powers in the ways, so that we don't just have the ones at the top, but we have always the issue of and we're not just talking about the field, because we have female athletes in all kinds of other areas like basketball and football. And so we need to make sure that Bahamian young women, young men, little boys, little girls have as great an opportunity as anyone else in the world. And so we thank you so much. I'm not able to tell you my knowledge.
When asked if there will be any future exchange training programs involving other major sports in the Bahamas, such as basketball and baseball, press officer at the U.S. Embassy, Sumaya Abdullah, says though the current program is focusing on track and field, as of now, they did not eliminate the possibility of other programs in the future, having been involved with other similar initiatives in the past.
The U.S. Embassy supports participation in all of the sports and encourages girls to get involved in a lot of these sports. And recently, during the Battle for Atlantis, had exchanges between the WNBA and through the NCAA women's team and men's teams who had come to the Battle for Atlantis and the youth programs and youth basketball clinic. This particular program is focusing on track and field, and we're looking for future opportunities to connect on other sports. But for this one, due to accessibility and trying to encourage a sport that has a lower amount of equipment on the family island, we're focusing on this.
This is not the first time such a collaboration between the University of the Bahamas and the U.S. Embassy in Nassau has occurred. Back in late October last year, the two entities teamed up to host a basketball clinic for high school players at the university's courts, with members from the UB Mingos men's basketball team, and coaches led the clinic that was coordinated through the American corner at UB. For JCN News, I'm Cale Campbell.
Thanks for that report, Cale. And finally, on Sunday, February 12th, die-hard football fans from across the globe will be glued to their televisions for the showdown between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona. However, a group of lucky Bahamian fans will get to experience the thrill of the game live and in person. AB InBev, along with Bud Light and local distributor Jimmy's Wines and Spirits, will be taking 3 Bahamians and their guests to the Super Bowl. Winner Cyril Robinson, Jermaine Humes, and Vivian Bain will be treated to the ultimate hospitality experience. The 3 winners were randomly selected from entrants who participated nationwide in that promotion, with all of them purchasing a 6-pack of the popular Bear brand from their favorite distributor. Super Bowl 57 is also getting a lot of attention because it will be the first time in the history of the NFL that 2 black starting quarterbacks will play in the Super Bowl. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Torino Saunders. Thanks so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.